The film begins with a crime scene investigation, where police officers are looking into a few dead bodies at a house. During this probe, police discover a dead body of a young girl buried in the basement. The most dramatic information to observe was this: all dead bodies that police had detected there were deep marks on their bodies, and all were related to this house. But the dead body of a young girl that the police had discovered, there was not a single scar on her dead body. And the more staggering fact was this: she did not belong to that house. Neither police had knowledge about her identity or further details. So the police give this girl a name, Jane Doe. And to get more information about Jane Doe, police send her dead body for post-mortem. After this, a boy named Austin and his father are shown, who were performing a post-mortem on a burnt dead body. In fact, it was the profession of the son and father. Their all family members were working on this same profession for centuries ago. So they had set their basement a place as a morgue. After a time, Austin's friend comes to meet him. And they were also going to watch the movie at that time. But Austin's friend insists to have a view of dead body before going. Then Austin's father says, "Select any dead body of morgue." Now the dead body which is seen by Austin's friend. It is seen that a small bell has been bound with the foot of that dead body. Then Austin's friend asks them about this bell. Austin's father tells her on this: the ancient people had no ability to understand it. Either the people are died or in coma. So they used to tie this bell at the foot of the person who was suspected. The benefit of it will be this: as when that man will stir himself a little bit, then they will come to know that he is alive. Austin's father was following this till today. As Austin and his friend are going to go from there, then the police arrive there, taking the dead body of Jane Doe. They say to Austin's father that, "We need the post-mortem report of this dead body till morning on the urgent basis." Hearing it, Austin says to his friend, "I cannot accompany you right now, because I have to assist my father. So we will move to watch the movie at night." Explaining it, Austin sends his friend from there. After this, both father and son start to be prepared for performing the post-mortem. Now they were going to perform the post-mortem on Jane Doe's dead body. Now both father and son was seeming shocked while carrying the post-mortem out, because Jane Doe's ankles bones and carpal bones were fractured. And her one molar tooth was also not there. In spite of it, her dead body was fresh. It means there was not a single scar on her dead body. Now they tear up the dead body of Jane Doe to know further. They check that Jane Doe's internal organs as lungs were severely burnt. Otherwise, there were also such internal organs, which had the wound and burnt marks. But it was the condition of her internal organs, but her dead body was fresh externally. Now the question arises here: how do her internal organs be like this? Now it was appearing after having a look at her dead body, as she has died recently. But Austin's father examines that her eyes had been faded. It means that Jane Doe has died before a time. Austin's father also finds such a plant in Jane Doe's abdomen while examining it, through which anyone's dead body may be paralyzed completely. Meanwhile, Austin's father hears the voice of something from the hall. When Austin's father moves to the hall while pursuing it, then he finds his cat dead. Due to this, Austin's father gets worried. Because this cat was the last memory of his wife. Austin was repeatedly saying to his father only about a thing. We may stop her post-mortem today. And we will resume it tomorrow, but Austin's father does not value his suggestion. And he starts to perform the post-mortem of Jane Doe again. While performing the post-mortem, they find the Jane Doe's missing molar tooth from her stomach, which was wrapped in a piece of cloth. Seeing it, both father and son are confused. Because extracting someone's tooth and tying in a piece of cloth, what may be the purpose to make her that tooth swallow? Then Austin's father separates the skin of Jane Doe after cutting. They check that there was also black sign in the inner side of Jane Doe's skin. There was also stated something with it. And the same sign had also been made on that piece of cloth, in which wrapped molar tooth of Jane Doe had been found. At the same time, all lights of that place are switched off. Due to this, darkness prevails there. When Austin's father switches on the light, that all dead bodies are missing from there except Jane Doe. Then an entity attacks Austin's father. Due to this, Austin's father is badly injured. So both father and son try to run from there. But they checked that neither elevator was working. And the mobile network was also creating issue. And the second door of their basement had also blocked. Because a terrible storm was howling outside. As a result, a tree had fallen on that door. Seeing it, both father and son get the point. That these difficulties are creating from that time. When Jane Doe's dead body had been brought here, it was clear that the problems was in the body of Jane Doe. Then they burn Jane Doe's dead body, going to morgue. So all problems may disappear which are appearing. But the things go wrong here. As the fire spreads throughout the room, coming from Jane Doe's dead body. Consequently, the whole room is inflamed. Then Austin extinguishes the fire with fire extinguisher. But they both observe after extinguishing the fire, that Jane Doe's dead body was as it is. As there was no any burnt mark on her body because of the flames. Witnessing it, they are more scared. Meanwhile, the sound of elevator's activation is heard. So both father and son run to elevator. Now elevator's door had been hanged wholly. And it was not closing. Then they hear the bell ringing sound. The same bell that had been tied with the feet of dead bodies. Now Austin's father is very scared, hearing the ringing of this bell. Pursuing the sound of bell, Austin's father throws an axe towards that sound direction out of elevator. Due to this, the bell's sound had stopped ringing now. When Austin comes outside to check, then he finds his friend's dead body there. Actually, the axe that had been thrown towards the elevator, hearing the bell ringing. That axe had actually stabbed Austin's friend. Consequently, she died at the spot. As Austin had said to her that we will go for the night show. So she had come to pick Austin again. Austin is very grieved seeing the dead body of his friend. And he weeps a lot. But Austin's father consoles him in some way. Then they again move to the morgue. So they may know more about Jane Doe. After this, Austin's father checks the brain cells of Jane Doe. So he comes to know that Jane Doe's brain cells are still active. Whereas the brain cell of dead people become inactive after their death. It was obvious that Jane Doe's brain was still active. Afterwards, Austin's father examines that piece of cloth found from Jane Doe's stomach, from where Jane Doe's missing molar tooth had been got. There was stated something in Roman language there. They know while checking that there was written about 2027, 1693 and 17c. Then Austin's father come to know with the relatedness of 2027. That girls were alleged in the 17th century. That they are witch due to this, they were tortured violently. And the girls who had been killed during these allegations, no one was witch among them. They all were rather innocent and blameless. Then Austin's father understands it, witnessing it. That Jane Doe has not died recently. She was rather died in 17c. And her brain cells are active from that time. Due to this, her dead body is still like this. It means, it is fresh. Otherwise, Austin's father was also asserted it. Jane Doe wants to do the same which she herself faced. She also wants to make us feel this pain. And the post-mortem which was performed on her by us. She is also getting the realization of this pain. It is the cause that Jane Doe is taking her revenge from them. Getting the point, Austin's father says, going near Jane Doe's dead body. Kindly pardon us. Take your revenge from me. Let my son go from here. Saying it, Austin's father's carpal and ankle bones begin to fracture. Moreover, his inner organs also begin to burn. It was the same as with Jane Doe. Now Austin's father was not getting courage to bear this pain. So he requests to Austin, "My son, kill me." Then Austin kills his father while weeping and stabbing him with a knife. Afterwards, it is seen as Austin's father dies. Then Jane Doe's whole dead body itself is healed. Afterwards, Austin begins to search for exit. He comes to attic while searching. At the same time, he hears the sound of something. As he glimpses after turning back. Then he notices his father's standing dead body there. Seeing it, Austin gets upset. As he falls down as being scared. Due to this, he is also died at the spot. Next day, police arrive there to get Jane Doe's post-mortem report. Contrarily, police witness more 3 dead bodies there including Austin, his friend, and his father. But Jane Doe's dead body was still in the same condition. It was seeming as her post-mortem had not been started yet. Seeing it, police is very confused. Because the same sight had also been seen at the start of the movie. There were the dead bodies of many people. They were all wounded. But Jane Doe's dead body was in stable condition. Police again sent Jane Doe's dead body for post-mortem to somewhere. Jane Doe's foot finger is seen stirring while taking her by ambulance. And the movie completes on this scene.